Yeah! Alright, how to write SAT sample essay number 3. The Digital Parent Trap by your favorite tutor, MrWritingTutor.com. Let's move on. There's a picture of me. I paid 80 bucks for it, so I'm gonna use it. If you want an $80 headshot, contact Yoshio in Astoria. Nice Japanese man. His house is hot as heck, but it's worth it. Alright, moving on. So there's the directions. Look, if you're reading these directions during SAT time, you're in trouble. All it says is write neat, fill up the spaces, 50 minutes. Moving on. Now, these are the features in the box. Let's go over this. As you read the passage below, consider how Eliana Doctorman uses evidence, such as facts or examples, to support claims. For example, statistics. Almost every article is going to use statistics. Now, you also have to explain how Dr. Min uses reasoning to develop ideas. Plain and simple, these are claims and counterclaims. Alright, and lastly, you could also mention how she uses style. Alright, and style and persuasive elements, just remember these three words: ethos, logos, and pathos. But don't fret, I'm going to tell you what these mean later. Alright, now how do you write this SAT essay? So, write an essay in which you explain how Eliana Doctorman builds an argument to persuade our audience that there are benefits to early exposure to technology. That's her point. There are benefits to early exposure to technology. All you have to do is analyze how she uses one or more of the features in the box below it, in the box before, to prove her point. Okay? Don't explain whether you agree or disagree with an argument. Just explain how she makes an argument. And make sure you mention how she uses persuasive techniques, development, and statistics and research. So let's get to ethos, logos, and pathos. Alright? Every argument uses ethos, logos, and pathos. Okay? Break it down. When you think about ethics, when you think about ethos, think ethics. Think about a person's character. When you make an argument, you are going to use ethos. You're going to try to tell the person you're arguing with that you're a trustworthy guy. You should be believed. When you think of ethos, think about this guy. Yeah, there he is. Don't just focus on this guy. Think about what all politicians do. When they get up there and they take the stage, one of their main goals is to persuade the crowd that they are worth believing. Trust me, I've built successful businesses. I know what it takes to make America great again. Hey, I know all these politicians. They're all corrupt. I know because I paid them off. I'm not a politician. You can trust me. That's building ethos. That's telling an audience that you're a swell person worthy of being trusted. Okay? Think about this girl. Alright? I know what it takes to run a country. I lived in the White House for 8 years. I was a senator. I've stood by the black community. You should be with me. Okay? Um, think about when you're trying to make an argument with mom. Say you want to stay out Friday night, late. All right, don't just say, "Mom, I want to stay out Friday night." But why? But why? No, you're gonna come to her and you're gonna say, "Mom, have you seen my report card lately? Yes, I've been working very hard, Mom. Look, I got straight A's. Now look, Janet, Janet, she's the person I've been studying with. She's the reason I get A's. She's going to a party on Friday night. I want to go too. We're exhausted. Can we go to the party?" Notice how you talked about your character before you talked about what you wanted. That's all ethos is. And in every article, the writer is going to use ethos. Now let's talk about logos. Not as exciting, but all logos is logic. You're going to talk about claims and counterclaims. Okay? Back to you asking your mom to go to the party. "Mom, now look, I know you get worried that there are a lot of bad kids in my school and they drink and they smoke and Janet's not like that, and the party we're going to Amit's house. He's not like that, and his friends, Chan and Durbradesh. We all study together. We all study in groups, and we're all part of the philosophy club in school, and we just want to get together and talk about literature. That's what turns us on. All right. That's the counterclaim. Now, mom, you know that I deserve a break. They're good people. I need a break. You can do without me without for one night. Let's make it happen. Just let me go. You don't want to turn me into the rebellious Asian kid. Okay, that's all logos is. Logic. All right, now every argument uses pathos, emotion. Think empathy. How does the writer connect to readers emotionally? You want to connect to your mom? Now you tell your mom after this. You told her that you're trustworthy. You told her your friends are trustworthy. You told her that you know she has concerns. However, she has nothing to worry about in this party, and then you get emotional with your mom. You tell your mom, how do you get emotional with your mom? Mom, I really want to go. I haven't gone out. I really haven't asked for much. And you told me that the only way to make a person trustworthy is to trust them. I'm telling you, mom, you can trust me. I love you. Okay? Now look, I know I'm joking, but all writers use ethos, logos, and pathos. All arguers use this, and I use this. Oh look, just getting back to whatever. All right, ethos, logos, and pathos. Oh God, I gotta go back. Let's just get to the essay. The digital parent trap. My introduction. Nothing fancy. From what I've discovered, the SAT. Oh look, from what my student Thomas from Bayside discovered, the SAT essay doesn't have to be fancy. Thank you, Thomas. Just get to the point in the beginning. In the digital parent trap, Eliana Doctorman uses Aristotle's age-old techniques of ethos, logos, and pathos to prove that there are benefits to early exposure to technology. Doctorman establishes herself as a credible expert. See, that's what she does. That's ethos. Citing statistics from extensive research and experts to prove our point. Concede some facts to opposing claims. Right there. That's logos. See, I'm saying that she concedes some facts. She gives up some things to the other side. And she closes with an emotional appeal to parents. That's pathos. Okay, so I said she uses ethos, logos, and pathos, and then I briefly explain how she uses ethos, logos, and pathos. And then I get to my first body paragraph. Dr. Min begins her argument by stating a fact that we are living in an age when American kids are savvier than they have been in the past. Then here's the evidence. 20%, 27% use 43, 52, blah blah blah. Then I give two pieces of evidence. Always give at least two pieces of evidence. She introduces the conflict by citing school districts that are embracing technology, such as Los Angeles County, which plans to spend $30 million, blah, 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 blah. Notice, I used the quote one time and I just paraphrased it the other time. And then I mentioned the Waldorf schools, which aim to bring children back to nature. Okay? That's my point. She uses research. Where does that fit into ethos, logos, and pathos? Oh yeah, what is that? I guess that's logos. Well, you know what? It's more of I'm describing techniques she uses, statistics, not necessarily ethos, logos, and pathos. Although you can say this is logos. Moving on, let's end the essay. Second body paragraph. After asking the rhetorical question, that's a technique. Who's right? Dr. Min uses, quote, traditional parent adages to explain the counterclaims. Quote, the less time spent with screens, the better. The rise of cyberbullying and the reports that seeing happy children on social media can lead young users to feel depressed about their own lives. Okay, that's basically logos, okay? Because she asks who's right, and then how does she support the other side? She says they are parental adages. What is an adage? It's an old saying. And these are things that parents say, alright? Don't go on the TV, don't go on the iPad, cyberbullying's bad, Facebook makes you depressed. But then she goes hard for her side. Dr. Min then lambasts. When you think lambast, think blast. Blast these traditional beliefs with solid evidence. That's logos. That supports her argument. She cites research that suggests that social networking sites also offer, quote, unprecedented learning opportunities. She cites Mimi Ito, sounds Japanese, an anthropologist at the University of California at Irvine who explains that through the internet, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm talking about Ethos over there because you can believe Dr. Min because she's citing Mimi Ito, and Mimi Ito is an anthropologist. Okay, and then I close it by saying Dr. Min discusses a recent study by SRI, a nonprofit research firm, which showed that kids who played games, blah, 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 did better on tests. Okay, so I'm not flat out saying ethos, logos, pathos. I'm intertwining it with my essay. Alright. Um, Dr. Min, this is my third body paragraphs. Dr. Min concedes that there are dangers inherent in access to Facebook, but that the benefits far outweigh the risks. She even quotes an opposing view, Jim Taylor, author of Raising Generation Tech, who said that today's educational games are a load of crap meant to make money, but she shuts his argument down with research proving otherwise. Then I close off you know what, I'm not too happy about that third body paragraph. It's too short, which is what people say about me, but that's okay. Look, you only got 50 minutes, a lot of time. Okay, I could have done better. We'll get into the grading later. Conclusion. Dr. Min closes her article with an emotional appeal to readers, citing child experts such as Sean Jackson, Principal Spencer Tech. Dr. Min tells readers that we are living in a different age when old beliefs such as, quote, less than 2 screen hour rule is absolute, and when college and job applications are done via computer. Dr. Min quotes Jackson, who says, quote, if we're not exposing our students to this stuff early, they're going left behind. The writer pleads with parents to use common sense to take away technology from children who use it, but to keep an open mind about the many benefits that research now shows it can bring. And that's what I'm saying. The SAT is telling me to break down her argument. How does she prove her point? And I think I showed how she proves her point. She uses character, she uses logic, she uses an emotional appeal, and here's what you get. Here's her statistics, which shows some logic. Here's how she breaks down her argument, which is logic. Here's her citing experts, which shows ethos. Here's more logic and more ethos. She cites other people, but she shuts them down. And here's some pathos. All right, my last paragraph is dedicated to her emotional appeal. It's a scare tactic. She scares parents, and she says, you might want to keep them away from computers, but remember, they're gonna need those computers. Okay, so and if you don't let your kids play with computers, albeit we know that some kids abuse computers, so keep those kids away from the computers, but don't totally isolate your kids from the computers because they'll need it. Keep an open mind. That's her quote. All right. So, what grade would you give me? I know I'm not the greatest writer in the world, but I think I'm better than most. Okay, that's the highest score. 4. Let's ask ourselves the question: did I do what I had to do? All right. Number 4. Did I show thorough comprehension of the text? I don't know. Hopefully. Probably not. The response shows an understanding of the text central idea. Yeah, I think I did. Most important details. Yes, I think I did. Free of errors. I proofread it, so it should be free of errors. Skillful use of textual evidence. Quotations. I did. Paraphrases. I did. Both. I did. Complete understanding. I think I showed that I understand the text. I know what she's arguing. All right. I know that she talks about the other side and she destroys the other side, saying the other side has adages, but I have research. Okay, now, do I have a 4 in terms of analysis? Insightful analysis. I hope I was thorough. I thought I was. I mean, I've written more thorough essays, but from what I've seen from essays that have gotten 4s, they're not longer than mine. Actually, mine is probably longer than most. Stylistic and persuasive elements. I mentioned how she uses that. Features of my own choosing, yeah, rhetorical question, relevant, sufficient, strategically chosen. I thought I chose the most important claims. Consistently on those features that are most relevant. I thought I focused on the features that are most relevant. I told you I wasn't too happy about that third body paragraph because it's too short over here. But for the most part, I thought I did a great job analyzing. And the wording, the response is cohesive and demonstrates highly effective use and command of language. I'm Mr. Writing Tutor, damn it. I should have that. I have a precise central claim, skillful introduction and conclusion, wide variety of sentence structure, consistent use of precise word choice. I used the word lambast. That should be worth something. And strong command of the English language, free of errors. Remember, I scored 99% in the writing section of the SAT when they had a writing section, okay? So I retired undefeated with a 99%. All right. Help me help you. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Feel free to email me an essay and ask me to grade it. You can ask. That doesn't mean I'm going to grade it. You know, you might be surprised. Text me. Maybe I'll grade it. All right, MrWritingTutor.com, the #1 writing tutor in New York City. The only writing tutor in New York City. In-person tutoring, or we can talk over Skype. All right? Take care.